Boundary layer separation. So next part of this boundary layer separation. So how to prevent this boundary layer separation? First method to prevent boundary layer separation is suction of slow moving fluid by suction slot. Suction of slow moving fluid by suction slot. So suction slot means what? Some suction arrangement you can provide wherever there will be a slow moving fluid, and due to that there will be a reduction in boundary or prevention in separation of boundary layer whenever there is a slow moving fluid. Second, when additional energy if you can provide there, because why boundary layer separation occurs? Because there is a deficiency of momentum, and due to that deficiency of momentum, fluid cannot claim that height, or fluid cannot attach to the boundary surface, and due to that there will be a separation of boundary layer. So due to that, if we apply additional energy from lower, so it will be one of the solution to prevent separation of boundary layer. Providing the bypass in the slotted wing. So if we provide any bypass arrangement in slotted wing, then also it is possible to reduce or prevent separation of boundary layer. Rotating boundary in the direction of flow. If we apply a rotating boundary, so rotation of boundary will exert extra momentum to the fluid, and due to that there will be reduction or prevention in separation of boundary layer. Next, providing small divergence in a diffuser. If diffuser arrangement will be there, so if we provide some small divergence zone there in a diffuser, so you can reduce the boundary layer separation or prevent the boundary layer separation. Providing guide blades in a band. So guide blades if you provide in a band portion, so here also boundary layer separation can be prevented. So this is very small topic. Next important topic we will start here, that is flow over solid body. So or in another language we can say forces on submerged bodies. So forces on submerged body. So which type of forces exerted by a flowing fluid on a stationary body? Now first of all, how these forces will exert there, it is very important. Some example you can see that why we are studying this topic, because if we had to analyze fluid flow over buildings, or if we had to analyze flow of water over bridges, or if we had to analyze submarine, ships, aeroplane, automobile moving through water or air, in that case the amount of drag force or lift force exerted there, if we had to understand this type of forces, so here it is very important to understand the physics behind them. So first of all, forces exerted by a flowing fluid on a stationary body. So forces exerted by a flowing fluid on a stationary body. Now if body is stationary, or if body is moving also, there also you can analyze, but here for simplicity we will take that body is stationary. So let us assume one solid body of any shape. This is a solid body and it is stationary solid body. And if fluid is flowing over this body, if fluid is flowing over this body, so consider body held stationary in a real fluid which is flowing with some velocity u, capital U, some velocity capital U. Now the fluid will exert force on stationary body. Now fluid will exert force on stationary body, and the total force exerted by fluid, so total force exerted by fluid on the body is perpendicular to surface of the body. Why? Because if air strike at a stationary body, so one force component will be along the direction of motion of fluid. So this is called as your FD or drag force. Another component will resolve along perpendicular to the direction of motion of the body, and this is nothing but your lift force Fl, which is perpendicular to the direction of motion of the air. Here along the direction of motion of the air, it is drag force exerted due to this stationary body and due to the interaction of this high velocity air. Now if we make resultant of this drag force and lift force, so this resultant component, it is nothing but your total force Fr. So this resultant component is nothing but total force Fr exerted by fluid on the body perpendicular to the surface of the body, and it is perpendicular to the surface of the body, and it will be perpendicular to the surface of the body. Thus the total force is inclined to the direction of motion. So automatically you can see here that if you see the direction of motion of the body or direction of motion of the air and your total force, so it will be some inclination. So there will be some inclination in between the direction of motion of the air and total force. So one component, it is drag, and drag component, it is what? In the direction of motion. It is in the direction of motion. Drag, it is in the direction of motion. And second, it is lift component. It is your FD, drag force. Second component, it is what? Second component, it is lift force. Lift force, it is FL, lift force FL, and it is perpendicular direction to the direction of motion. So it is perpendicular to the direction of motion, perpendicular to the direction of motion. So these are the two important forces exerted by flowing fluid on a stationary body. One, it is drag force, another it is lift force. Okay, so here the lift is the force exerted by fluid in the direction perpendicular to direction of motion, and lift force occurs only when the axis of the body is inclined to the direction of fluid flow. Remember, lift force always occurs due to inclination of the body. If body it is parallel to the direction of motion, so no lift force will exert here, only drag force component will be there. So total force will be a drag force component if body it is parallel to direction of motion, and if the axis of body is parallel to direction of fluid, lift force is 0, and in that case only drag force acts. But if fluid is assumed ideal means what? Non-viscous, no shear component, and the fluid is symmetrical means what? It is not symmetrical shape. Symmetrical shape may be cylindrical, spherical, or it will be cylindrical. These are symmetrical shapes. So if body symmetrical such as sphere or cylinder, and if fluid it is ideal, in that case both drag and lift will be zero. Remember, if fluid is assumed ideal and body is symmetrical such as sphere or cylinder, both the force, both the drag and lift force will be zero. Important concept. If body is if the fluid flowing it is assumed as ideal and body is symmetrical. Symmetrical means what? Maybe spherical or cylindrical in shape. This type of shape where symmetricity will be there. So both the drag and lift force will be zero. This is very important. Now next, expression for drag and lift forces. So expression for drag and lift forces. So let us assume any body. This is your body, any shape. Body is there. Any shape body, and consider arbitrary any shape here, and real fluid is flowing over this body. So real fluid flowing over this body. This is here. Real fluid which is flowing with uniform velocity capital U in a horizontal direction. So consider a small elemental area. Let us assume small elemental area will be here. This is your small elemental area. In this small elemental area, let us assume which is flowing with uniform velocity u, fluid is flowing over this arbitrary body, and this is the small elemental area of magnitude area dA. So force acting on the surface area dA are, which type of forces will be there? We have studied. That is, one force will be perpendicular to the surface, another force will be along that. Okay, so perpendicular to the surface and along the surface. So perpendicular to surface, if you see, so perpendicular to surface, so one force will be perpendicular to that surface, this is perpendicular, and second force will be along. So the force which is perpendicular to surface, that is compressible, that is your pressure force. So P into D, this is nothing but your pressure force. Another along surface, it is shear component, and that's why shear stress tau 0 into dA. This will be your along your dA area surface. So if we assume this is your x-axis, and let us assume the shear component magnitude here, it is your if this is theta. So if this is theta, okay, enlarge manner, enlarge here. This is your surface. This is your pressure force, perpendicular. Now this is your direction of motion of fluid. Let us assume this is theta angle. Now this is long tau 0 dA. Now this is your axis. Now because here it is 90 degree, okay, so what will be the measurement of this angle? So measurement of this angle will be what? See, again this is theta, so opposite angle will be theta, and this is your 90 degree. So 90 minus theta, this will be your 90 minus theta. Okay, so this is your 90 minus theta. So along the direction of motion, this is x-axis section, we can say theta, it is with your pressure force and horizontal. Okay, so there are two components here. One, it is pressure force equal to P into dA. So one component will be what? Pressure force, which is equal to P into dA, acting perpendicular to the surface and acting perpendicular to surface. Second important force, it is shear force. And what is the magnitude of shear force? It is tau 0 dA, and along the tangential direction of surface. It is along the tangential direction of surface. So it is along the tangential direction of the surface. So theta is angle made by pressure force with horizontal. Theta is what? Angle made by pressure force with horizontal surface. Okay, so these are the two important forces. Now, so what we want to calculate or what we want to derive here, one drag force and another it is lift force. Now drag force is what? Drag force, it is along the direction of motion, and your lift force is what? Perpendicular to the direction of motion. So along the direction of motion, so pressure force along the direction of motion and shear force along the direction of motion, and summation of this along the direction of motion of pressure force and shear force, this will be your drag force FD. Okay, so force due to pressure in the direction of fluid motion plus force due to shear stress in the direction of fluid motion. So in this way you can derive drag force and lift force. Now drag force first, I think can write this. Okay. First drag force. Now drag force, it is force due to pressure in the direction of motion. First, force due to pressure in the direction of motion, plus second, force due to shear stress in the direction of fluid motion. Force due to shear stress in the direction of motion. Fluid motion. Okay, so FD, that is nothing but your drag force, it is equal to what? It is equal to PdA along direction of motion. So this is your along direction of motion. So if I had to write PdA along the x-axis, this is x-axis, so how I can write PdA into cos theta? So PdA cos theta, because I want along the direction of motion, plus tau 0 dA, now it is 90 minus theta, So it will be cos 90 minus theta. So this will be your drag force component. But here we have calculated for small elemental area, but if I have to write for complete body, so I have to do integration. So this integration of PdA cos theta plus integration of tau 0 dA. Now cos 90 minus theta it is sin theta. So this is nothing but your drag force for your drag force component complete for your arbitrary body, stationary body, and fluid flowing over this stationary body. Second, this is nothing but what? Pressure drag. And second component, this is nothing but what? This is friction drag or shear drag or skin drag. So this is your pressure drag, and this component it is what? Shear or skin drag or friction drag. Okay. Now in this way we have derived drag force component for any submerged body in fluid over this stationary body. Second, it is lift force. So lift force, same thing, but here force due to pressure in the direction, perpendicular to direction of motion, and force due to shear stress in the direction perpendicular to the direction of motion. So I am not writing this statement, you can understand. Force due to pressure in the direction, in the perpendicular direction to the fluid motion, and force due to shear stress in the direction perpendicular to the fluid motion. So we can write pressure force PdA. Now PdA, now the direction of PdA is what? Downward. So that's why this will be a negative component, because it is theta is 90, so this will be your 90 minus theta. So that's why you can write PdA cos 90 minus theta. So PdA, this is nothing but your 90 minus theta. Why? Because it is theta and it is 90, so the remaining angle will be 90 minus theta, and along perpendicular, so that's why it will be minus PdA cos 90 minus theta. So cos 90 minus theta will be sin theta. Okay. Second, shear component. So shear component should be tau 0 dA, and this will be your perpendicular, because it is 90, this is 90 minus theta, so this will be your theta. So automatically you can write tau 0 dA cos theta. Okay, so in this way this will be your lift force Fl. But for complete body, submergible body, you can integrate this. So integrate, so positive sign I will write here. So tau 0 cos theta dA minus integration of P sin theta dA. So this is nothing but lift force for a body moving in a fluid of density rho and uniform velocity u. Mathematically there will be Fd and Fl formula, that is Fd is equal to CD A rho u square by 2. We will discuss this in next class. Fd is equal to CD A rho u square by 2, and Fl it is equal to CL A rho u square by 2, where CD it is coefficient of drag and CL it is coefficient of lift, and A it is area of the body, which is projected area of the body perpendicular to direction of flow, or you can say largest projected area of immersed body. The resultant force will be what? resultant force Fr, it is equal to under root of drag force phi square and lift force. This is your resultant force. So in this way we have completed components of drag force and lift force in case of your immersed body. Okay, thank you.